Ah, Shadow the Hedgehog. The game, not the character. Everyone either hates the game or they love it. But why is that? Just look at this box art. If this isn't a good game, I don't know what you're thinking. People love Shadow so much that he's getting a new game, his own game again, and people are excited for him. They love the character so much. I even have a Shadow the Hedgehog plushie. I think. This is the only Sonic merchandise I own. When you talk about the game, people can get quite sinister. I've even seen some people call it the worst Sonic game ever. First of all, this isn't Sonic. Second of all, have you even seen stuff like this? But how could such a cool character get such a divided game? Well, we're gonna find out if Shadow the Hedgehog does suck. Now let's take a look. Oh my god, Rogers, you ruined the disc! As you can tell, the intro goes extremely hard from what we've been seeing here. Like, why does this CG cutscene look this good? Like, how is that possible? I think it'd be easier to talk about the story first, so let's do that. So Shadow forgot most of his memory, and the aliens appear. Their leader, Black Doom, who is obviously not evil in the slightest, tells Shadow to get him the Chaos Emeralds, and that he knows the truth of who he is. So Shadow runs into the city, and our story begins. And it also immediately dies and falls into pieces. Why does it fall to pieces, you ask? Well, the story becomes extremely segmented, and it doesn't make much sense. The only things that make sense are the intro, the true ending, and then the pieces that you get in between sometimes. In the game, you complete missions, good missions, neutral missions, or dark missions. Depending on what mission you do, you either go up, down, or continue along a path on the mission board. This lets you make your own story, but in the end, they typically become kinda hard to follow. Shadow's always teleporting randomly into the stage or just running into the stage with no backing behind it. Sometimes the previous level ends with you getting teleported away, so it doesn't make sense, but this doesn't really happen all the time. You're kind of just popping in and out of areas. Basically, some of the stuff you see is canon, and some of it is just what-ifs. And I find the what-ifs to be neat sometimes. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense, because you can go along murdering people, and then you can go straight down to the good path and be a good boy. I found the premise to be quite cool, I found the true ending to be cool, and there were bits and pieces around that I thought were also a bit interesting. But a lot of it is kind of strange, and sometimes it's funny as hell. Gameplay. Oh my god, it's a Sonic game. But you're not Sonic? Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Sometimes it makes me wonder why I'm even here. Like I said a bit ago, the levels are like this. You can choose to be good, neutral, or evil. Most of the time, neutral is just to get to the end of the level, which are honestly the best missions, as they're just straight and simple and all you have to do is get to the end. Evil and good missions are almost always kill X amount of enemies, blow up the big moving thing, blow up the big stationary thing at the end of the level, and there are some alternatives once in a while. Some of these I do like. Chasing down the alien ship with Sonic was fun for me. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I actually like this one. Spending 30 minutes hunting down aliens on a map the size of every map in the game put together for Maria is not fun. But holy moly, as a kid, I just always did the neutral path of this level, which just sent me up. It's just so much easier to just do the level and get to the end of it than trying to find all these aliens in this massive level. I could never find the last one as a kid. It was abysmal. I did it this time, but was it worth it? No. The levels themselves range from good to what the hell is this? Every level does this, but the worst ones are the ones that put roadblocks everywhere. Like I just said, every level does it, but some levels do it a lot. And sometimes they even damage you when you crash into them, so you get stun locked and you just want to run around fast. You don't want to get hit by these. I know your first reaction might be like, oh, why don't you get better at the game? But you kind of have to stop completely moving to dodge them. You can't just run around them because of the way Shadow controls. It's not really possible with the way they're designed in place. Why do I have to slow down and do these incredibly slow vehicle sections? Because of all this and the really large size of the levels, they can take a very long time to beat, even on neutral sometimes. But sometimes the levels just feel like a copy and paste of rooms, and it feels like you're seeing the same thing over and over again, which sucks. But man, do the designs of these levels look great. Like the theme of them, I mean, is just amazing. They're very interesting, and it's always fun to look at them. But then you realize you have to play the first level of the game 100 times to get the true ending in all stories. I personally believe that these levels are more designed for being an action game rather than a speedy platformer. You have these checkpoints throughout the level that let you warp between them so you can do your missions easier by going to what location you need to, or where you think your objective might be. There are also these doors that you need keys for, and when you do a level and get the keys are saved, so once you get 5 keys you can open the door and get a secret. This rewards multiple playthroughs, but it is really rough to replay these levels when they take so long. It's worse when you're forced to slow down during some of the kill missions and you have to look all over the place for the last enemy because you missed one. Did I ever say that sometimes the enemies spawn after you run past them? No, I swear this happens. It doesn't help that the AI is weird. Even if you decide to do a hero mission and save them all from the aliens and destroy the aliens, the cops will still shoot you. Why are the cops shooting you? Wait a minute, it looks like we have a political opinion incoming. I eat spaghetti with a spoon. The guns are super fun to use though. It's always a fun blasting whoever down with your, I don't know what this is, but it's just very satisfying for me. Shadow's melee punch kind of sucks, but it's like you're going to have a weapon most of the time anyway. It doesn't really matter. You're just kind of punching air without it. I have only one major issue with Shadow's combat, and it's that in a Sonic Shadow game, I should not be scared to do a homing attack. This homing attack barely locks onto the enemy half the time, and it just sends me off the stage. Why is it like this? It should not happen in a game like this. I can't blame Sega for making this kind of game though. Around this time, there were many games coming out that were more mature, like Jak 2. And Grand Theft Auto was hitting the mix, so everyone was growing up and they wanted more cool, quote-unquote cool stuff. They were going from kids games to, I'm gonna kill Praxis! However, Jak 2 is beloved. Grand Theft Auto is beloved. Is Shadow the beloved? Personally, I like the game. And for everyone else, they either want to rip your throat out or they just casually hate it, which is fine too. Basically, I cannot tell you if you will like it. You'll have to play it yourself. And I cannot tell you if it's good either, as you'll have to play it yourself. This is one of those games where it's not objectively good and it's not objectively bad. It's whatever you want. And that happens with games sometimes. Because there are bad games out there. And if you like them, I don't know what's going through your head. But there are objectively bad games out there. But for this one, it's absolutely up to the person. It's not objectively bad. It's just different. There's a lot of things that would make people hate this game. And except they're wrong, because the intro is the best in the series, so it automatically makes it the best game ever made.